Now, breaking news from KCTV5 News.
An appeals court in California has refused to reinstate President Trump's travel ban from 7 predominantly Muslim countries.
And it draws an angry and immediate response from President Trump. He is tweeting here in all caps, "See you in court. The security of our nation is at stake." Emily Sinovic is tracking the first 100 days now of the Trump administration and is here with more on this ruling. And really, Emily, what happens next?
Well, it's really up in the air right now. But what I can say is there's been tons of interest in this ruling, and for the right reasons, because it really does affect the entire country. Now, this is not a ruling on whether the ban is constitutional. That is a very important point to make. This ruling, it's focused on a more narrow question of whether this ban should be blocked, while the courts get in the weeds with the arguments over whether this ban is lawful. Kind of hard to follow there, but again, not over whether this is constitutional. Now, the states argue, this is a quote from the ruling, the states argue that the executive order violates the Establishment and Equal Protection Clauses because it was intended to disfavor Muslims. Basically, they're saying the president doesn't have proof that the country is in immediate danger if the ban is blocked. The 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruling came in a challenge to the Trump's order filed by the states of Washington and Minnesota. The U.S. Supreme Court will likely determine the case's final outcome.
Yeah,
so a lot of questions to be answered here. But again, the ban is not reinstated. It is still blocked, as the Washington judge's ruling was last week.
So travel will continue to happen from those 7 countries until another court would get involved.
Right, and the next court could very well be the Supreme Court. We're expecting the Department of Justice to appeal to the Supreme Court directly, and the Supreme Court, as it can in any case, can always reach down into the court system, pick out a case if it chooses to hear it. The interesting thing, though, is right now there are only 8 justices on the Supreme Court. As we all know, there's an empty seat. Neil Gorsuch is up. He's nominated for that empty seat, but the Supreme Court can still hear a case if they're short of justice.
Do we have any idea how soon this might get to the high court?
All I'm hearing is that it could be fast-tracked. Now, what exactly that means, we don't know, but basically within the next week or so. This really has a lot of steam behind it and a lot of people who want this to be resolved.
And again, this does impact so many people. It impacts airports all over the country, not just all over the country, but all over the world. Yeah. So a lot of people watching this globally. Yeah,
globally, because they've kind of been jerked back and forth a little bit, if you will, and they really want to know what exactly is going to happen for the long term.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, Emily, thank you.
And we have posted the full ruling on KCTV5.com and on our news app. Just click Found It on Fox.